Welcome back to another episode of the Hoopers Almanac. We're a few weeks away from the trade deadline. We're a few weeks away from All-Star Weekend. But guess what? We're not talking about either of those things. We are talking about the Houston Rockets Boston Celtics game that just wrapped up. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant about referees, and then Adam's gonna go through the Unrivaled recap of the weekend and the Euroleague Minute. And then we have a fun thing that we're going to do that kind of kicks in the back half of the season, a little bit of a draft, but of teams we have to watch for the rest of the season. So exciting stuff coming up. But before we get going, here are our friends from Green Top. If you're watching on YouTube, you just saw the new intro video we put in last week. We're gonna have the person who created that on next week. Super excited about that. But we're also now on YouTube. So if you're listening to this podcast, you're like, "What are you talking about?" Go watch this on YouTube as well. But none of that. Adam, hey my man, good to see you. It's been a week now, but how you doing?
I'm good, man. It's just rolling along with my two teams that I help coach, and it's kind of down to that last few games in district play and playoff brackets. We're starting to kind of look at that and going to scout some teams we think we might see in the playoffs, and both teams are ranked in the top 4 in the state right now, so very exciting.
You were talking to me a little bit about all the driving you're gonna have to do right before we started the pod. A 5-hour drive on Saturday, brutal. But you get to go to the great city of Austin here soon too.
I do.
So,
I do.
Can't hate that. What has been what has been the most exciting game that you've been a part of coaching wise since the start of the new year? I know we're only less than a month into the season, but give me a quick favorite game that you've had the opportunity to be a part of, on the bench there.
So we had there's this team that we played, Houston team on the girls' side. That's quite a bit bigger than our school. So the private schools in Texas are classified 1 through 6A. The school I'm at is 4A. Mm-hmm. So we played this team that was 6A, kind of the top classification, and they're pretty good. And we lost to them in a tournament in Austin. There's a game you came to. The game you came to.
Oh yes, with
the two big girls and a real good point guard, and
yeah.
Okay, so we played them again at our place in our tournament. I guess it was New Year's Eve actually. And so I guess, sorry, I'm cheating on your.
You're okay. It's fine. It's within the past month. Within the past month.
But we played way, way, way better than the time that you saw us. We were down 9 at one point, but kind of kept it close and made kind of a furious comeback in the last minute. Get a steal, layup to tie the game with about 40 seconds left. Running back down on defense. We were in the zone. It had kind of bothered them. And that number one, that point guard that you saw, that kind of real shifty.
She was nuts.
30 seconds left, and obviously it's tied. So you'd think probably gonna hold for one shot, whatever, maybe try to get something going to the rim. Pulls up from 30 feet out.
No,
hadn't she taken 1-3 the whole game, she'd made it in the corner. Might have missed one at the end of a quarter or something, but pulls up from 30 feet out and just drains it. It was shocking. Their coach was livid because it was obviously a terrible shot. With 30 seconds left,
right? And especially with one, because what was it, tied? You said
it was tied. Yeah, so it was that's the thing. It's if you're losing, gosh. Okay, maybe, but it still would have been a bad shot. But tie game, it's what are you doing? I mean, had they missed it, we just have an easy chance in transition to go back down the other way. But she just drains it, and you could everyone was just wow. Also, the gym was packed because it was right after a really high level boys game, right before another really. So those teams were still in the gym. So. It was packed. There's people on the side. It was just a kind of a huge atmosphere. The game obviously ended up being pretty exciting. So we lost, but it was really fun. I think it's going to prepare us well for kind of our playoff run because that's probably a better team that we'll see at our level. So it was a really fun game, but very flawed. There's a lot of mistakes that. But sometimes those are fun in high school games. So, but yeah, that was probably the most enjoyable one so far. We also had kind of one of the boys in that same tournament that the boys had. We actually absolutely stole a game and won in overtime by 2, but. That was kind of a back and forth affair. We were missing one of our best players. That was a little bit of a caveat there, but yeah, that girls game we ended up losing by 5. We actually got a good look on the other end. Missed a 3, had to foul. We ended up losing by 5. So it was a tough one, but it was fun.
Well, both matchups seemed like they've been fun because the first matchup it was foul trouble and ref controversies that made me want to lose my mind. So hopefully, which is a theme of this podcast, which we'll get to after
I love
this recap.
The city of Austin, but their officials are just not good, just baffling. It's you just have no idea what you're going to get every time we play a game in Austin.
Well, it also helps when you would have 3 refs, which that tournament
did not,
that
unfortunately.
You were at. No, it did not. But we move on from women's to men's to professional. Yep. And there was a game that we both were watching a little bit tonight, the Houston Rockets versus the Boston Celtics, the fight for the 3rd overall seed in the NBA, but it's the battle of the two seeds in the East and West. And guess what, Adam? It was only available on League Pass.
Yeah.
Anyways, not the point. We could have watched Cleveland, Detroit on NBA TV, but we chose to watch this
Which
game.
was like a huge blowout, right? Didn't Cleveland kill them?
Cleveland was close to start, and then Cleveland ended up winning by 19. Yeah. So not a crazy, but still like enough where I'm like, okay, this is gross. While that was also happening, we had the 2-3 seeds play, the Knicks and the Grizzlies. Knicks did crush the Grizzlies
by like 40, right? Yeah.
It was 37. Yeah.
Okay.
So about damn near it. So that was also a gross game. But Houston, Boston. To preface, Tatum had 0 points in the first half. Gross. And it was basically the Jaylen Brown show, and then Jaylen Brown does what Jaylen Brown does at the end of games, which is become stupid, drives to the middle, gets stripped a few different times, and it gets ugly. But the story of the game, there's 2 guys on the Houston Rockets we need to talk about. First is Dylan Brooks having 10 threes.
Yeah.
10 threes. And this is also the Ime Udoka return back to Boston. I mean, it's the second time he's been back in Boston since being Houston's coach. And you could tell there was just so much fire, so much energy from both sides in this game.
Oh, yeah, Ime wanted that one for sure. That was,
and he left the court right after the game. He didn't even go shake anyone's hands. He's like, "Screw this, I'm out.
Peace out." Yeah. No, he definitely wanted that one. Yeah. So you kind of, we were talking about what time we're gonna record and all that stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, catch the end of the Celtics game before we jump on." And so I watched the last like 5 minutes or so after I'd got up for practice, and it's I mean, the other guy, you said Dylan Brooks with 10 threes. The other guy, the guy who had the ultimate game winner is Eamon Thompson, who was just fantastic in this game. I mean, the guy's been amazing the last like month or so.
He took on the assignment. I mean, there was 3 different guys who kind of guarded Tatum and Brown. It was Eason, it was Thompson, and Brooks. Brooks kind of fluctuated more so guarding Porzingis because I texted our group chat. I think Şengün might be a dumb defender. I think he does. Yeah. Truthfully does not pass the Quinn Cook test. Yeah. I don't think he passes the Tyler Zeller test, but that's a whole nother conversation for us to get into. But Şengün was basically just like hiding on Drew Holiday, and Holiday had a decent game, but this also comes with the caveat of no Derek White, no Al Horford, no Sam Hauser, but then again, the Rockets also missing Jabari Smith, not Jabari Parker. No one's missing Jabari Parker in the NBA right now.
He's playing in Spain.
Correct. Thank you. But Eamon Thompson, you're right. He was incredible defensively. He was all over the boards, as he and his brother have been for their first 2 years in the league. And he ended up with 33. And he gets the switch. He goes right at Jaylen Brown to end the game and hits a nice little floater over him. And it was just devastating because I'm like, gosh dang it. And it was either him or Luke Cornett who had made 2 boneheaded decisions down the stretch down the stretch with like, I don't know why he was behind Şengün on the easy like break.
Yeah, that was a strange play. So that's the one it was tied, and then they get that dunk off a sideline inbounds. Basically
with
Houston
0.8 seconds somehow only come off, which is
Houston
also
lifts everybody above the 3-point line. Şengün just kind of like essentially just cuts right around Luke Cornett, and they have like a little backdoor pass, and he gets a wide open dunk. So that gives him the 2-point lead, and then Tatum ties it with a nice take to the rim, and that was with Thompson on him too, wasn't it? On that one, so he ties the game, and then on the other end, there was that weird like, are they going to sub Cornett or not? Cornett's like, should I switch? Should I not? And Brown is kind of late getting back out onto Thompson on the inbound pass, so they just throw it to him. He gets a little head of steam and makes like a little fadeaway from kind of middle of the paint to win the game. There was 0.7 left, and Boston didn't have a timeout, and you could hear Scal on the broadcast. He was like, "Get it to Pritchard, get it to Pritchard."
I was yelling because I'm like, Pritchard, run up the left side of the court. There was no one on the left side of the court. You could have at least made it to half court at that point to get it to him, and then have a little bit of a closer shot. But no, he takes the 3/4 court shot because it's Pritchard wanting to, create a scene if he makes that. But
it's the top of the backboard, and that was the game. Yeah.
My point is this: Houston's insane. We talked about it with Steven a few months ago, and they're so good. When Evan and I did our who would have the best record of the top 8 teams, like back in December, like if everyone played each other in the top 8 teams from each side of the conference, I think we gave Houston 2 wins. I think Miami was 1, and I don't remember who the second one was, but I need to shut up now because I think Houston would beat a lot of teams that I was clearly wrong about, because they're really good and clearly really well coached, and I still can't stand Ime Udoka.
Actually, I mean, that's they're officially their best record in the league now, the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, it's aggravating.
Crazy.
What it is.
Yeah.
What's also aggravating is this man named Tyler Ford, which if you've listened to this podcast before, this is not the first time Mitchell Sells brought up Tyler Ford. There's I think our most watched clip on TikTok is me ranting about Tyler Ford, and it brought up the fact that I have not done my Mount Rushmore of least favorite referees, because Tyler Ford is without a doubt number 1. No doubt about it. The man hates fun. He hates any sort of rivalry contact. Like Porzingis had this crazy putback dunk and bumps into Brooks, does a yell, and the second he yells, it's just it doesn't even look like he's yelling at Brooks. He's towering over Brooks because he's 7'3", and he just yells, and Ford calls a tech. I'm like, good Lord, whatever. And that's not like it's got, I don't know how many techs he's called this year, but it's not the first time he's done that this year where it's been aggravating. I think he also called the Paolo one this past weekend, when Paolo also dunked on a guy.
That was so soft. Yeah,
correct. Adam, I know you're not a man of hatred. You're not a man of anger. You don't have this truthful, strong disliking towards many things. But I need your thoughts on this list of people that I'm about to roll through here.
Yeah, I have such a quick note on just refs in general before we kind of get into this. I have a kind of a complicated relationship with refs because I do think, and there was actually a study done in England. This is obviously about football refs, about what type of personality wants to be a ref, and it's a lot of really anal rule followers. A lot of cops, a lot of people who want to tell people what they're doing wrong. You have to want to do that. So I tried to ref a summer league game one time. It was a middle school summer league game, and I hated it. I was like, this is miserable. I don't watch the game this way. I don't watch the game thinking, what did he do wrong? I'm watching it completely differently. I'm watching from a team level or an individual about kind of skill level thing.
Yeah.
And so it does take a certain mentality to do it. I do kind of admire people that do it because, man, it does not seem enjoyable at all. It's like if you're on one side of the court, the coach and the players are in one ear. If you're on the other side of the court, it's like in a high school game, you have the parents yelling at you. I would not want to do it. We actually pay the refs pretty well in Texas. For varsity games, they do pretty good, and NBA refs get paid pretty well. And there is kind of an interesting kind of pathway to get there, but there are less and less people doing it. And I do worry in the future, because of how negative everyone is towards refs, I do worry that there's going to be this point where it's like, why would I do that? And they're going to have to really incentivize to get people to do it, and we'll have a shortage of refs. I do kind of worry about that a little bit, because the 3 guys that did our varsity game, a pretty important varsity game this past Friday, I mean, one of them was definitely over 70. And then 2 of them were probably in their 60s and just could not keep up with the play and just were not good officials. And there were so many mess ups with the clock and there was one time where a guy called a foul on, he said number 20 black, the team we were playing. There was not a number 20 on either roster. It just things like that. That was just what, just that constantly things like that happened, messing up, who touched it last and all these different things. And the end of the game, there was 0.2 left and we threw the ball in, and all someone had to do was touch it, and the guy didn't start the clock, and the ref just knock it down to 0.1. It's man, just all these little things refs I can't really stand, but then I have gotten to know a few of them, just kind of working these tournaments and leagues I do.
Sure.
And it's man, they're human beings. It's a hard job, and they do take some of this stuff personally. And there are ones that really try to be good, and I really appreciate that. But the ones who are not good drive me crazy. And I've never gotten it technical as a coach. I don't really argue with refs. I think it's very I'm more of like a politician. Like it's more beneficial to kind of like almost befriend a ref than it is to just like berate them. And
Yeah.
studies show that as well. But man, sometimes they drive me absolutely crazy on the level, especially when I'm coaching. Not as much when I'm watching the NBA. So why don't you get into your I guess you would call your bottom four
Yeah.
referees or your most hated referees.
I don't know what's the inverse of Mount Rushmore?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what's my
Like
what's the
Hall of
biggest
Shame or something. Yeah.
Hall of Shame? Don't hate that. What's the deepest trench in the world?
Mariana's Trench. Yeah.
Yeah, what's my Marianas Trench?
That's good.
But I don't know if that's how that works.
And there's
Either
not
way,
like four of them, yeah. But yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm throwing out ideas here. Either way, Tyler Ford is without a doubt number
Okay.
one on that list. I hate to put this guy on here because he shares my name, but Mitchell Irving is also the worst. This man is
Mitchell.
statistically calls the most fouls per game than any other ref in the NBA. There is one of my favorite, which I need just to know them by heart. But there's this social media page that posts like different statistics about different NBA things. But they did a whole week about NBA refs, and they broke down why Mitchell Irvin is the most like he calls the most fouls, and like the crew he usually is with calls the most fouls. And with that, there are the most free throws per game.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
Yeah.
he also has like the longest games in the NBA right now. Like his games average like the longest time. And I'm like, I'm out. This game is supposed to be quicker, and you annoy me. So he's up there. Pat Frere.
Oh yeah.
This man, I know he's from the South. He's got the Southern accent too. Whenever he does reviews, this man, it comes out of him. But he's been around for I think almost 30 years. He's been around for a while. This man beats to his own drum, and there's been several games where he does not put up with anyone. Also, a hater of fun. And the good Lord loves him down at his Baptist church of wherever he goes to, wherever he resides. And I'm going to screw up this guy's last name, and I'm fine with it because he's also sucks. Justin Van Duyne, I don't know, Duyne, Mr. Pronunciation, help me out here. Van Duyne.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Help
just
me.
pulled him up. Yeah. I mean, if it's like the Belgian soccer player Kevin De Bruyne, it might be Justin Van Doyne. Van Doyne. If it's like a
Van
Belgian
Duyne.
like pronunciation,
Sure.
but yeah.
Either
Yeah.
way, annoying. I just find him annoying.
Man, this is
So
really
yeah.
niche. This one. Yeah.
Oh no, he there's been some because how long's he been? Do you have his
Not
stats up?
long.
Like
I'm trying to find that. Some of them have like because it has like their number and like there's a way you kind of pull up. So he's number
yeah, I wish I
64.
could. Yeah, I was gonna say because there's some guys that like I found like the whole NBA referees like what's
This
it?
is fourth year as an NBA official.
Okay, I found like the whole directory of NBA refs to just look through and just be like, okay, remind me. And then this man's face. I remember at 10. I need to find the text I sent you all about this because it was earlier this year where I sent a text about this man. Van doing. Oh, this was back in December. Jesus Christ, December 19th. I texted the group. I now have a least favorite ref, and it's Justin. You have the two softest texts of all time. Maz is going to get fined big time by these refs after this game. So, So there was something that happened on December 19th. I don't remember who we played right now off the top of my head. And then I watched the Spurs game apparently. But anyways, that's the Mount Rushmore of least favorite refs that I have. Do you have? Again, I know you're not a man of distaste and dislike me, but like, do you have one that you just despise?
I don't. Well, yeah. I'll get back to what I'm about to say. I don't. I mean, growing up, I couldn't stand Joey Crawford. I mean, because of the
Sure.
Duncan thing. I mean, that was just so absurd. And he just drove me
Is it
crazy.
was it similar to like the Chris Paul Scott Foster stuff?
It wasn't as bad as like his team always loses because obviously Duncan won a lot of games, so that didn't really
Sure.
happen a lot. But it was just the way he like treated him, and obviously the famous to like ejecting him for laughing on the bench
Yeah,
was
that's
just
true.
absolutely
The worst.
insane. I was watching that game live. I think it was like a Sunday afternoon against Dallas, and yeah, you just hated him. I hated the way he communicated. That's the thing too. In that same
Mhm.
study, I think they talked about how like these are the type of people who like are not fun at parties, who like are organizers maybe, but like are not, you know what I mean? Like it does take a certain personality type to be a referee,
Right.
to like want to organize. And that's why they all are very like kind of clean cut looking. They have that kind of same like vibe almost, like the super tight tucked in shirt, and it's like it really is its own personality. And like it's interesting to watch a game with a ref. I've done that before. And they are watching the refs. Like they're like, oh, that was a bad call. Or, oh, this.
Oh no, that's so. One of my best friends, Mike Carr, is a Misha ref here. What was, I don't know if he still is, was a Misha ref, and one of my favorite things is like we lived together for a few months, and when we'd watch an NBA game during the bubble, he would do like he'd do the motions of like what the refs should be calling like in the game. I'm like,
interesting.
It's just like that's just how his mind works. It was pretty funny, and I love watching games with him because he like has like kind of. I mean, he's a very subjective fan. This is also the guy who's in the group chat that is titled "LeBron is a fraud," so I really can't like take him completely seriously. But he is also very objective when it comes like to fouls. Like he can see like the truth of it all. Plus, he reffed a few of my brother's games. Which you would have been a coach for. He was he reffed the Tolton game.
Nice.
And then he reffed another. Oh, this was after you had left. He reffed actually another Tolton game after you left, and it was when Kalen almost got in a fight with the Tolton student section.
Well, yeah, he almost got in a fight a number of times.
Game. That's right. Anyways, that was one of the crazier ones. He got suspended 3 days after that. Anyways, but it's okay. Anyways,
okay. So I don't hate anybody. I guess I should land on that. I don't hate anyone. I do think there's some that are better, clearly better than others. And was Zach Zarba doing the game today with your boy?
It was
because Zach Zarba's good, and who was excellent,
Zach.
And is now like the head of the refs thing. And I think we lost. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. I can picture him perfectly right now. But he did Game 7. He was the crew chief for Game 7 of the 2016 finals, and that's like one of the like all-time best like officiated games. Like there was no stoppages, no reviews, no like it just flowed. It's like this awesome game. Monty McCutcheon.
Oh, Monty McCutcheon is a stellar guy.
He was great.
Love Monty.
Trivia question for you real quick.
Oh gosh.
3 players have played in the NBA and reffed in the NBA game. Can you name any of them?
Richard Jefferson.
No.
I couldn't name any of them. Talk to me.
So there's Bernie Fryer, who was back in the day. He reffed. He spent 5 years playing and 30 years refereeing. Leon Wood, who reffed like until really recently, I think. And then Haywood Workman.
I did know Hayward Workman. That name sounded. I remember that was a part of the page that I watched, like with random NBA stats. He talked about like the different refs that have played. And
and then Smush Parker is trying to do that right now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Is he just like doing G League stuff right now?
Yeah, college games. Yeah, just trying to work his way up. Yeah.
Okay. Refs I do like Curtis Blair.
Okay.
Billy Kennedy. Billy Kennedy's just funny.
Yeah, he is.
Billy Kennedy's. And then.
I don't really like Tony Brothers. He bothers me.
You know who I also don't like? James Capers, because he looks like he belongs on Family Guy.
James Capers. Yes.
James Capers literally looks like he belongs on Family Guy. He's up there. I don't hate Scott Foster, by the way. I kind of like him.
Yeah, we need refs like that. We need kind of big personality.
Oh yeah,
like, it's okay to have a couple of those, but
you know who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
You're also former coach of that we both have. One I played for and you worked with. Nice little Dave Lehman.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Shout out Lehman. Yep. Shout out Lehman.
Shout out Dave Lehman. All right. Anyways, off of NBA ref talk. Can you give us which one you want to do first? Unrivaled or Euroleague Minute?
Let's do Unrivaled. Let's start with Unrivaled because we talked about it last week. It had just started. There's been a few games, and I don't have like a ton to say more than last week. Obviously, I mean, there's been more games that have happened. I do think they're being smart with the scheduling of these games. So they're playing on like a Friday, Saturday, Monday, and then having a few days off, and then Friday, Saturday, Monday. So only one team each kind of scheduled cycle is playing a back-to-back. So basically how they're doing it is the games are pretty quick, like we talked about last time. They're taking less than an hour really to finish. So
because how long are the quarters again?
7 minutes and then untimed fourth
Right. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the target score. So which has led to some cool moments. The target score so far, as I
Right.
predicted, but the games are both in the same place, so they're in that kind of little Wayfair kind of mini arena that holds about 900
Right.
people, and the tickets are going for a decent amount. Like I looked up like what's like the just the get in the door cheapest ticket possible to the games
Well, because you
tonight.
get tickets for both games.
You do. So that's huge. So and it was like $80. So yeah, that was like the very cheapest, and there were obviously some going for a little bit more than that. So
I'm looking at this weekend; they're not cheap.
yeah. And that was the Monday night one. The Friday and Saturday ones are like way more expensive than that. So
$200.
yeah, that's just to get in the door. Yeah. So now it's small, so every seat is good, right? So it's like you're going to be
Correct.
close.
Yeah, that does help.
So and that was, I think, a very good marketing strategy of like, hey, let's not, because they eventually want to tour, but they're not going to do it for the first year. And like we're not going to go play in these arenas. Like we don't know what it is yet. Like let's make it
Right.
like a really valuable thing right away. So like I know that opening weekend they had lines like out the door, people trying to get in. So that's been pretty cool. But there's some imbalance. I want to see maybe one more week or 2 weeks of gameplay before I really kind of break down some of this stuff. But in how the teams were built, and there's been some blowouts. There's also been some close games, but Nafisa Collier's team again won tonight, so I think they're 4-0 now. The Lunar Owls, and so it's like yeah they are 4-0, and yeah they did win again tonight. So
well, they killed the Phantom on Saturday.
Yes,
82-58, and it was not even close.
No, it really wasn't. And the Phantom have struggled a bit. But what do you think of like just like the look of it, like the jerseys and like how it looked? It kind of looks like the goal is for it to look a little bit like the bubble. What do you think of like the aesthetics of it so far?
I truthfully appreciate the aesthetics so far of it. It doesn't feel like it's not supposed to feel like an NBA game. It's not supposed to be compared to that. It's hey, here's a kind of it feels a high school atmosphere. Because of just like you said, everyone's so close to like the court, but it's all on like that one side basically. There's like the ends too, but I think one thing I appreciate is just that like the people who are at the game are just so close to the action, and I do love that. You're right though; it does feel very bubbly, and I think the thing that's so much better than it is about the bubble was the fact that there's actually people there.
Yeah.
And it's not like the PA announcer just over, which we talked about it when we did the Anatomy of a Franchise this past summer with the Mavericks Clippers game we watched in the bubble. That was brutal just because I'm only hearing the PA announcer and the announcers talk. This is like nonstop action. We have it for 21 minutes of actual like timed gameplay. And then, I think when the games have been close, those have been enjoyable. Now, like you said, like there's been some, I would say, clear disparity just from some of the teams, but I think you have to have like some top teams to like cheer for. Now, then again, there are some players who aren't playing. Like INSQ didn't play this past weekend.
Yeah,
has she played at all?
She played in the first game. Yeah.
Okay, so she didn't play She didn't play this past weekend, and so there's some like clear like just figuring out of things. So I'm just curious about like just consistency from some players that I am like. If we're gonna watch these games, I want the best player, like every player, to still be playing
for sure.
So,
and I think they knew that is like, look, I mean, it's a basketball league. Like people are gonna get hurt, so they've had a couple of people come in on like replacement player, like deals that are still good WNBA players, but their goal of it being like the 30, 35 best players. Obviously it felt a little bit short of that, but it is still like I'm just watching these games, like these people coming off the bench, and like man, like it's like these are really good like teams. Like these teams are all pretty loaded. So that part's been cool, but I'll be curious to see kind of, like we don't need to do like a standings check-in right now, but the kind of foothold it's gotten pretty good ratings, and it's clearly like made some waves. Like, I mean, KD was tweeting about it. Like there's some people who are like, hey, this is pretty cool. And I think the more we see of it and the more kind of like people understand the format and the scoring and the, all that, the more people will like it. And then I think obviously, if we look forward to next year and they get, a couple more of these really heavy hitters and Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark in particular, that could kind of vault it to another level. So
is the girl who just got traded from the Aces,
Plum.
Kelsey she play?
Plum. She does not. She was initially supposed to do it, and she pulled out. And so
that's another one. That's another one. Not that she's like, she's probably part of the top 35 in WNBA, right?
Oh yeah, she is, and she's very famous. So yeah, that would.
Yeah, and so why not? Which also that's a crazy trade. The fact that she got moved to the Sparks was nuts.
It was. Yes, I'm wearing a Sparks.
Shams, Shams doing the reporting on that one. Who would have thought that he'd be making WNBA breaking news.
And Jewel Lloyd, who was traded in that big trade, is playing, in Unrivaled. So she was one of the first people announced. So big time player. A friend of mine asked me to put that trade in like NBA terms, and it was a little bit hard to do because like the ages are like. But I said like just kind of like level of player, kind of where they're at. I called Jewel Lloyd Devin Booker, and I called Kelsey Plum Darius Garland.
I don't hate that.
Yeah,
I don't hate that. Yeah, just on level of like playing field of like
where they stand within the league.
Is Jewel Lloyd a top 15 player in the WNBA?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know it
that was
well
a huge
enough.
trade. That was a huge trade. Yeah, that was.
I mean, I knew the names.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, if I know the names, I know it's a big trade.
Yeah.
So that, and I knew. I mean, I know who Kelsey Plum is.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's also like I had heard Jewel Lloyd's name before, and so I just
I mean, they're both in the Olympic team. So they're both obviously.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that does make sense.
Very good players.
Okay, cool. All right, you want to move to across the pond?
I do. The Turkish Airlines Euroleague, as it's officially called. And for
should I ride on Turkish Airlines to Italy?
I've actually ridden one Turkish Airlines flight, and it was a great experience. So yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay, there is an option for us to take a pit stop in Istanbul and then go to Italy. Part of me is terrified of stopping at any point in Turkey.
Oh, I would love to go to Istanbul. That's on my bucket list for sure.
See, yeah, but it's only it's a 7-hour layover in Istanbul, and I'm like, but like the thing is, I'm gonna hang out in a Turkish airport the entire time. I'm gonna have some shitty food, is what I'm gonna have. Anyways, talk to me about the EuroLeague.
Yeah, so we are at the probably 2/3 of the way through the regular season, and I think we the last time I did this, I kind of did a brief breakdown of what exactly it's 18 teams, you play everybody twice. It's really quick to do that. They have the same kind of playoff model the NBA does, where the top 6 get in automatically, and then 7 through 10 are in a play-in, and those will happen 10 versus 9, 8 versus 7, and then obviously those get those last couple seeds, and then the playoffs are best of 5 for the quarterfinals, and then they go to a Final Four, like an NCAA tournament style Final Four, just single elimination. One location, which I can't remember where it is this year, but
they have a play-in, right?
They do, yeah. The 7 through 10, 7 through 10 are in a play-in, yes. So yeah, I can't remember where exactly it is this year, but last year Panathinaikos won, and their team is pretty loaded. They're still very good. They're currently sitting in 4th place, but the standings are really bunched up. So there's one game that's going to have to be made up between Paris and Fenerbahce. And Paris is new to the EuroLeague this year, and they've been very good so far. This is the team that David Kahn basically runs, the guy who ran the Timberwolves and got kind of laughed out of the league, but he's done incredibly well with this team. Thiago Splitter is their head coach. They're kind of the story of the EuroLeague so far. They're at 13-9. They're just a couple games back of first place. They do have that game to play still, so against Fenerbahce, Fenerbahce's in second. At 15-7, so that's a huge game, and that could kind of to swing, that 2 through 5 slot. But there's people who call it the most competitive league in the world, and they don't mean that by like the best team. It's not the best level of players, obviously, but in terms of like 1 through 18, it has the most like competitive. I mean, the teams are the team in first Olympiacos is 16-7. The team in 9th is 13-10.
13-10.
Yes, they're all right there. And it's been really interesting to watch. And there's just tons of NBA players, just recent NBA players that are playing in these leagues. I mean, the Panathinaikos, their entire starting 5 has played in the league in the last couple of years. Olympiacos, same thing. Sasha Vezenkov and Evan Fournier are their kind of like star combo, and they're both playing really well. And they're at the top of the league now. So it's been a lot of fun. And there's all sorts of like little rivalries and things baked into each game. And some of these teams are obviously from the same country, so they maybe have played their like games in their domestic league, and then they're playing these EuroLeague games, and it's just like these crazy atmospheres. So yeah, that's been pretty cool to watch. But I really would advise anybody who like, especially if you're in this world, which I'm not really a part of this, but if you're in this kind of like the current NBA sucks, too many threes thing.
Oh God.
It's very annoying, and I have a rant prepared. Maybe in a couple of weeks. Like it just gets it's ridiculous. But this is what you're looking for. Like, and a lot of it's on ESPN Plus. Like you can get a thing for this like pretty easily. Plus the games are on at like 2 PM. It's pretty cool.
I would like to have something to watch in the background while I'm working.
Yeah, no, I'm the level of play is super high, and it is different. It's a little bit what people are like kind of saying they want. It's like a little bit more kind of like sets and execution, and I mean there's still just kind of like a high ball screen on virtually every play, but There is a little bit different style of game. It's not quite as 3-point dominant. There's still a little bit more post play and not necessarily to score out of, but to pass out of. So I think the games are honestly just a super super high level and really fun to watch. And they they count for something, and the atmospheres are amazing. So it's like, yeah, I watch these games like way before a college game. Like I don't like, to me it's not even close, like the level of quality. So yeah, it's been fun to follow it. Like this is the closest I've ever followed it. Partly because I went to those games last year and kind of got the bug for it.
Right.
But I started following it probably back like 2009, 2010, kind of loosely. I got really into it around that time, and then kind of have softly kept touch and usually watch the Final Four. But this year I'm pretty heavily into it. Like I'm watching highlights of virtually every game, and it's been fun to follow.
So yeah, this is the one thing I don't love is that we have all these how do I put this? All these like young talented guys that are going to be probably a part of this draft class. I say this because one specific player that I have always been really interested in, Hugo Gonzalez on Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I want to see more of him, and I want to see him play more. But he's only averaging like a point a game and rebound a game
because they're trying to win. That's the thing. It's so funny. Like
right.
The biggest it's why Wemby left Asvel, who was a EuroLeague level team, to go play for that Metropolitans '92 team, because he was like, this team, like we want different things. Like I need you to just be developed because I'm about to be a number one pick in the NBA draft. Like this team is just trying to win a game right now. So like that's why I prefer this level than like the kind of prospect hunting. But you don't like, I am missing out a little bit on like some of these guys who are like possibly going to be high draft picks because I'm not really watching mega. I'm watching Olympiacos. So
right.
like I don't look as at like Evan Fournier going over there as like a death sentence, or like, oh, he's washed because he had to go for Olympiacos. It's like, no, he just wants a role where he's not just sitting in the corner the entire time. Like he can actually play his style of game. And we saw him in the Olympics. He gave the USA problems. So it's like the guy obviously can still really play. I mean,
the man gave the Boston Celtics problems every time he played them.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that man enjoyed giving the Celtics pain after his 30 games with us. No, and that's completely fair. Hugo Gonzalez getting beat out by Mario Hezonja in playing time, which is
Hezonja game-winning three the other day with like 0.2 left to beat I think it was Baskonia. Really crazy game. Yeah, they're down by 2 and hit a 3 with 0.2 left to win the game.
Dang. Anything else?
No, that's it. Yeah, I want to keep an eye on it. And as we get close to the playoffs, each team has about 11 games left in the regular season, and then when we get closer to the playoffs for the EuroLeague, I'll kind of do another update. But yeah, it's an awesome level of basketball, and I think, Mitch, if you ever got to go to a game over there, you'd be hooked too. It's really cool.
Oh, I'm sure. That's the thing. Like I know I would be hooked, and because like I want to do like the atmosphere of like of a European soccer or a European basketball game, because I feel like it's gonna feel like a college atmosphere, like of a sporting event.
Are pros. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So like the talent is a little different, but the atmosphere is similar, and that's the thing I thrive in is like how crazy is the atmosphere. So I totally know I would. Let's finish this podcast off with a thing you brought up right before we started. One thing Adam and I have promised to do is to do a podcast or do like some sort of like in an episode talk about all 30 teams. We've talked about a few. We've had some different people on to talk about certain teams throughout this season. But we also decided we should just like how many games we got left, Adam? I mean, for most teams, it's around like 35.
Yeah, 38. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So within the last 2.5 months of the season, we've decided that we're going to dedicate one episode. I mean, at some point during each episode, we're going to dedicate time to breaking down a game for one or two teams throughout the podcast. So like, for example, except we will not be breaking down like a Celtics or a Spurs game, because those are our two teams. And we, like tonight, talked about the Celtics Rockets game. And Adam talks about the various number of Spurs games he goes to. So on and so forth. There are 28 teams for us now to pick from. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a draft of which teams each of us are going to watch for the rest of the season, and then we'll do a breakdown episode at some point during this year. So
if you do the math, if we do the rest of the season, like we start next week with this, and if we talk about 3 teams per episode, it'll get to the playoffs.
lovely, and then that still gives us time to talk about other things.
Exactly.
This is just a nice way to start the podcast.
Yeah, it'll be
great.
15, 20 minutes of the open of the podcast. Yeah, just we want to show love to all 30 teams, and how else to do it? Because if I don't have the something like this as a reason to do it, I'm probably not going to sit and watch a bunch of full Charlotte Hornets games.
You were about to say Bobcats.
I was about to say Bobcats because I'm in anatomy of franchise mode, thinking about their entire history. But Charlotte Hornets games. I'm not. Sorry, I'm not watching full games of theirs.
I know who's going last.
But I will for this.
I know who's going last between all these teams. So there's
28 teams. 28 teams on the board.
Jesus. Okay. Adam, I'm picking a number between 1 and 2.
Okay. Give me 1.
Aha. All right. I'm going to go second. So why don't you start us off? Who would you want to watch a game for? Are you keeping track over there, by the way?
I am. I'm just opening a little doc.
Phenomenal, because I have not touched anything.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
With the first pick in the let's go. I'll pick first. You get second and third, and then we'll alternate after that. So it's at least
okay.
Fair.
Sounds great.
Again, Celtics and Spurs are out. We'll be talking about them plenty. Give me the New York Knicks.
New York Knicks. Okay. Yes. All right. Love it. So I get 2, and then we're going to go back to alternating?
Yep.
Okay, so you end up with the last pick. I just really wanted you to know that.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's brutal. I'll take the Thunder, because I'll probably just talk about the game I'm going to in February.
There you go.
Right before the Super Bowl. And then I will do the Cavs. I'll just take the 2 number 1 seeds.
Yep. Fair enough. I will take the Houston Rockets.
Give me the Denver Nuggets.
Okay. Houston, Adam. I'm sure you can hear my typing away here.
You're all good.
Denver, Mitch. Give me. I'll hold off on this team. It's the team I'm seeing on Wednesday, but I might be late to the game because I have a JV game I have to coach. So I don't want to. I don't want to talk about a game that I miss a part of. So,
you can watch another game of theirs this year.
Yeah, and I will. I'll just go with them. Because they'll give me a chance to go. Los Angeles Clippers.
Okay. I'm shooting mid. I'm shooting a little lower. I'm going to take the Detroit Pistons.
Okay.
I want them.
Yeah, I like that because it's one oh man, I haven't watched them a lot the last few years. I want to watch them. I thought about them as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, and they've been fun, and they're over 500 for the first time in forever.
Yeah, they've been very fun. Give me the Milwaukee Bucks.
Give me the Timberwolves. I'm also just avoiding teams I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch some of these teams.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, do I really want to? Let's be strategic here. I'll take the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
I'm going to wait on them until Luka's back. So that'll be probably one we talk about quite a bit later.
That's fine. I see that there's 2 teams who are just avoiding up at the top of the West now.
Yeah.
Give me the Orlando Magic.
Yep.
Now that Paolo is back and Franz is back,
yep. I was thinking about.
I need to spend some time, except for the fact that they've kind of sucked. They're 2-8 in their last 10.
Yep.
That needs to turn around ASAP.
Yes, it does. Okay, where are we at? That should be team number 10, I believe.
Or 11.
That was 11. Yes. Okay. So number 12. Let's go with screw it. Lakers.
Gladly take them.
Yeah. And
I can't. You know what? I'll take the Grizzlies then, because then I guess I can.
That's good because I just saw them and talked about them last episode, so that's good.
That's fair. Okay, then I'll make that a joint. I'll do the Grizzlies probably when I go see them in February.
There you go.
I'll do a Thunder game later on.
Okay, back to me. There's a part of me that wants to go real random here, but I can hold off on a couple of these.
Part of me wishes we would have done this earlier in the year so we could have talked about the Brooklyn Nets when they were actually like decently fun.
Yeah, like kind of interesting. Yeah.
I also need to, if I do that, I need to choose it before Cam Johnson gets traded.
Yeah. I'll take the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
Also one to wait on until after the trade deadline, probably.
Which then I'll do the Miami Heat.
Okay. Back to back. Heat and Suns. That's yeah.
Gross tandem there.
Okay, so we're halfway. Or no, we're more than halfway because we're only doing 28.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. I was just on the games thing. Let me actually pull up the standings.
The Washington Wizards have
Sacramento
lost
Kings.
their last 14. Damn it. Oh, fine. Probably because I'm going to go see another game of theirs. Give me the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, we're going to see another game.
I will be.
Maybe
2 games. Might be seeing 2 games.
Chicago Bulls. Atlanta Hawks.
Damn it. Okay. Can you take the Pacers, please? Because I can't watch their games.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna save them. But yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That's fine. You can hold on to them to the end. But damn it. I'll take the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh shoot! I should have picked them earlier.
Yeah,
okay.
they're fun.
They
fun.
are.
I can't believe we're out here saying the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh man, I wish I had them. Yeah. They are though. They're a very weird team, and they have a bunch of like enjoyable players.
They do.
I'm afraid the East are gonna have to wait. For old time's sakes, give me the Golden State Warriors.
Okay, go for it. Give me the. I'm not watching them. I'll watch the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
They're on a nice little 4-game winning streak right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're not good, but like, not just like a terrible like watch.
No.
Okay, I'll take another one that I think actually, might be okay if they get people back. New Orleans Pelicans.
I don't think they're making the playoffs, Adam.
Oh no, they're definitely not making the playoffs, but they might be like okay to watch.
Sure, they're not making the playoffs.
No chance. No chance.
You know what's gross is we're gonna have only East teams left if I do this.
I know. I'm like, do we even have? We have one West team left.
And I know that's what I'm saying. I might take the Jazz right now, so I don't have to. So we could just start. You know what? No, I'm taking the Charlotte Hornets. I'm going to take the Charlotte Hornets. Okay. It sucks that Brandon Miller's out for the rest of the year, but
really does.
I was like,
I'll take the Jazz.
Okay, so now we're just working with these teams and bang my head against the microphone. Give me the Brooklyn Nets. You're gonna make me take them because you saved the damn Pacers to the end.
Because the Pacers, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Philly.
Then I'll suffer through the. Wait, did you take the Nets?
You have the Nets. You just took them.
I took the Hornets.
Yeah, and then I took Jazz, and then you took Nets.
Oh, son of a bitch! Fine, I have to take the Wizards.
You should take the Sixers. Yeah, Washington Wizards. Man, I'm sorry. There was a great bit on which leads me to the Pacers. I'll type that in real quick. There's a great bit on that Simmons podcast that was all like positive with Goldsberry, and he was like, and they did man, Goldsberry's like, if you want to see what the GM's vision of your team, you got to go watch them play the Washington Wizards. Like if they're in town, go to that game because you will actually get to see this is exactly what I want my team to look like. It's just like so good. God, they're bad. It's just
they're so bad. And did you see Jordan Poole's quote yesterday, or it was either yesterday or today, that he said he should be an All-Star by how he's playing this year? I'm like, sir, your team has won 6 games. Relax.
No, they're creeping up on like all-time, like one of the all-time worst teams ever. Like,
oh no, I was about to ask, do you think they can have that record?
So in an 82 game season, it's 9 wins, right? Is the record? Because that one Bobcats team was like 6 and whatever, but there was only 66 game season,
right? Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was
Bobcats have had Bobcats Hornets have just such a bad history.
Good
Lord. I went on a rant in my. There's one guy. There's these twins in our fantasy basketball league. I don't care. They listen to this podcast. They know that I get annoyed by them. There's these twins in our fantasy basketball league who one of them is literally the epitome of the Charlotte Hornets. Like their team has never been higher. There's 10 teams. We've been doing this league for 5-6 years now. This guy has never had a team get higher than the 6th seed. Has always it seemingly always seemed to has had a lottery pick. And then also talks the most trash, which I feel like Jordan was doing that as the owner, trying to talk up his teams when they were only getting in the play-in.
Yeah.
So I'm also now just trying to figure out like NBA equivalents of some of these teams in my fantasy league, and it's pretty funny just to think about.
So yes, that is funny. So yeah, officially they were the worst team based on winning percentage. They were 7-59. And the 72-73 Sixers were 9-72, but they, because of winning percentage, they actually were not the worst game. But I mean 9-73.
9-72. That's only 81.
Yeah, 9-73. Sorry, yeah.
You're good. No, you're good. I just wanted to make sure that they missed a game or something like that.
Yeah, that has happened a couple times. I remember there was a year where there was a Pacers and Celtics, I think, didn't play 82 games because their game was like postponed. It was inconsequential to the standings, so they just like didn't play the last game. Yeah, man, 7-59. Can you name 3 players on that team? I mean, once you like hear them, but like just like off the top of your head.
Gerald Henderson.
Yeah, Gerald Henderson was on the team. Yep.
That's one of my favorite random players.
Yep.
That was Corey Maggette, wasn't there? Was he?
I was just about to say, yeah, he was. There was like one like good vet that like had a nice career, but was done by this point and was on the team. Yeah, and it was Corey Maggette.
Was before Al Jefferson was there, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then is that Okafor?
Nope, he was gone too.
Oh shoot!
So it's after
DJ
Okafor,
Augustine.
DJ Augustine. Yep.
Yeah. One of my favorite Texas guys.
Oh, you know what? No, DJ Augustine was not there.
Son of a bitch. Aaron Aflalo?
Nope.
Damn.
This is a guy who went on to be like one of their best players in franchise history. Is his rookie year?
Kemba.
Yeah, Kemba Walker. Yeah,
Kemba
Walker was not their first pick in the draft. They picked Kemba Walker 9th. They also had the 7th pick. Can you recall who they took?
Not a shot. Who was it?
Bismack Biyombo.
Oh, what? He got drafted by the Bobcats?
He did. They also had Derek Brown, Matt Carroll, Sagana Diop, Corey Higgins, Jamario Moon, B.J. Mullins, Eduardo Nahara, who went to high school here in San Antonio, Tyrus Thomas, Kemba, like I said, DJ White, and Reggie Williams. Their coach was Paul Silas and owner Michael Jordan.
I knew almost every name on that, and none of them at that point in their career were above a B-.
Oh yeah,
that had to be one of the worst 2K teams of all time.
They were 13 games behind the 14th seed. Like
wait,
they were 13 games behind the next best team in the
East.
There was the Wizards that year, who were 20-46.
Oh gosh.
The Bulls were the 1 seed at 50-16. So they finished cool 43 games behind the Bulls in a 66 game season. It's absurd.
Well, listen, I mean, the Wizards are currently 30.5 games behind the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah. But the point is, they have a chance. I mean, so if they went 8 and 74, that'd be the worst team ever.
So what? They would have to lose. They only could win 2 more games.
Yeah, which surely they can win at least 2 more games.
Jordan Poole, 40-point game. There's one. Also, once they trade Kyle Kuzma, I think you're doing something good there. Oh. Okay. Thanks for everyone for listening. We're gonna have some big news coming next week on the pod. There's gonna be some super cool stuff coming out this next week. So come back next week, check in for everything on that. And then secondly, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and then also go check out our YouTube page where we're posting our video podcasts. I again said it last week and I hate that I'm saying it again this week, but I have to just because we're content creators at this point, Adam. Like and subscribe and make a comment if you like it or not. How do you feel about being this deep in social media now? Like you weren't like, not that you're like involved in putting any of this out there, but like, how does it bother you that you're now everywhere?
It is definitely like jarring. I mean, it's a thing I've definitely tried to keep like in check in my life. And just the fact that you just did a content creator, it's so funny. I was listening to Rusilla's podcast, and they were doing some life advice thing, and there was a bit about this couple that got invited to a wedding, and did you read? Yeah, it was hilarious. But they were like referred to themselves as content creators, and I was like, man, even if I like do this for a living, I would never refer to myself as a content creator.
I hate that the words came out of my mouth.
I know it's just like a content creator. It's like fair enough. Like it's people's job. I don't begrudge that, but it's just such like the term is like do not enjoy it. But it is weird. It is weird to see, especially like the video and all that stuff. But I'm excited. I mean, this has been such a fun project, and I think the thing we're announcing next week is going to be really cool. So a lot more to come. But it is definitely drawing. We probably should. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny that we still call it Twitter. It's like I never won't call it Twitter.
I know that's my issue.
Yeah,
follow us on X, and which is also burning in flames for many other reasons.
Yeah, you probably won't be following us on X for very much longer, honestly.
No, we'll probably be moving to Threads here in a little bit, anyways. Thanks everyone for listening. Go Celtics, go Spurs, and apparently I'm gonna have to watch a Wizards game at some point in the next 2 weeks before it.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your week, y'all.